Hi, welcome everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first webinar of 2018 with 3PGC. 3PGC, or the Three Principles Global Community, is a nonprofit organization that's committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles to people throughout the world. Today we have Dicken.bettinger with us. Dicken.bettinger, Ed.D., received his doctorate in counseling psychology and is a retired licensed clinical psychologist. Dicken's entire career has focused on psychological well-being. In 1986, he met Sydney Banks, who was sharing a profound new understanding of the human mind called the Three Principles that unifies our spiritual and psychological nature. Dicken co-founded one of the first Three Principles training, counseling, and education centers. Later, Dicken served as a senior staff at Pransky & Associates in Laconia for 16 years, where he developed and led corporate and university leadership trainings, team development, and executive coaching. In 2012, Dicken founded his private practice, Three Principles Mentoring. He offers 4-day immersion retreats for individuals, practitioner development, and advanced training programs. He enjoys leading group seminars in the US and Europe. And Dicken is the co-author of a book on the three principles called Coming Home, Uncovering the Foundations of Psychological Well-Being. Dicken has been happily married for 48 years. He has 2 adult children and 3 adored grandchildren. And he enjoys photography, hiking, canoeing, and traveling. So, Dicken, I am so excited that you're here today with us. I'm really, really happy that you're opening our first 3PGC webinar for 2018. And I'm really interested to hear what you have to share on being open, connected, and kind. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you. Boy, is it great to be here. And I say hi to all the familiar faces. Thanks for coming, folks. I love this topic. Being open, connected, and kind. It's my experience that as people gain a deeper understanding of the principles, that's what happens for anybody. You'll still have your ups and downs. You'll still have all kinds of experiences. But overall, I see people become more open, feel more connected to friends and family and your kids, to nature, to without even trying, you just find yourself being kinder in the world, kinder to people, kinder to yourself when you're having a rough time, kinder to other people when they're really having a rough time. That's what I see happen. Well, I'm thrilled that it happens that way. Okay, I have to work at least one grandkid in during this talk, so here we go. 2 days ago, I got a little video. Oh God, I love smartphones now. It's just, oh boy. It's like we're right there. My grandson lives 4 hours away, and I get to see him in video. He's 1 year old. And I'm in California doing a training. And my son sends me this video, and he's taking his first steps on his own. Oh my gosh. He'd take a few steps and then stop and then wave his hands. He was so excited. He's moving on his own. He's just delighted. Then he'd take a few more steps and laugh, take a few more steps. He'd just stop and look around. He's going, oh my God, it looks different from up here. And he'd start giggling. Now, when I first met Sydney Banks, the very first thing I heard him say was that every single one of you, no exceptions, already has perfect psychological well-being. It's your nature. It's at core. No matter what's going on for you, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're feeling, at core, you have and are perfect well-being. Now, I'd been a psychologist for 10 years. I'd never heard anybody say that before. I sure didn't think that I had perfect well-being at core. I thought that if I worked hard enough and long enough, I would gain well-being. I would develop it. And it makes a huge difference whether you think you already have it or whether you think you got to work to get it. Well, I was a work to get it. It seemed like most of psychology and spirituality was you have to practice and work to get somewhere. So that was my motto. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. I just did a training in Malibu, California. It was a weekend seminar. We had 40 people came, and then we had a day for practitioners that were teaching the principles in that area. And it was really, really neat as the seminars went on. During the breaks, when I'd look around, I would see people who were having insights and opening up. And you know what they looked like to me? My grandson learning how to walk. You know how they say, yeah, your eyes are the windows to your soul? Boy, you can see when we're caught up in our personal thinking, you can see the light going out in people's eyes. And people, when I'm walking around caught up in my thinking, when I see other people walking around completely caught up in their thinking, it's like the light goes out inside. It's still in there, it's just getting covered up. All that thinking, all that personal thinking covers it up. It's like cloud cover. The sun is still there. And I also see as people have insight into the nature of the principles, into their true nature, always I see people very simply having less personal thinking on their mind. You could say when you have a lot of thinking on your mind, you're closed-minded. When you have less thinking on your mind, you're more open-minded. And people's posture changes, their eyes change. They begin to delight in life more. I like that word delight. That's probably my favorite word. Go to delight. Would you lighten up? Delight. What if delight were our true nature? That's what I learned from Sid. Lightheartedness. Lightheartedness. Now, lightheartedness does not mean that you don't have your ups and downs and have very difficult times and get caught up in your thinking. I do. I don't know anybody who doesn't. I've never met anybody who doesn't. But I tell you, as your understanding deepens, even when you're going through a rough time, it's lighter. And there's more light coming through. You take it less seriously. You take your thinking less seriously. That's what begins to happen as our understanding deepens. Let me talk, I call this being open, connected, and kind, because that's what I observe over and over again with my clients, with people that I see as they gain a deeper understanding. And it's very helpful to know, in a sense, what it is you're looking for. what it is that is our natural state, what is meant by our true self. When you get to just relax and be yourself as you are, nowhere to go, nothing to fix, nothing wrong. You're still going to have all kinds of experiences, but you have less thinking about it. I hold my grandson. Every 10 seconds, he's having a different feeling. And it's just flowing through, and it doesn't matter whether he's laughing or crying, he's still lighthearted. You know why? Because he doesn't have any thinking about it. Why am I feeling this way? What's wrong with me? I'd rather feel better than what I'm feeling right now. What can I do? How do I get out of this? Right. Well, that person is not having this feeling. Why can't I feel what they're feeling? I've never heard my grandson say, you know what I'm doing, Poppy? I'm sitting around waiting for insights. So it says you're looking for pure thought, pure consciousness, pure mind. Pure mind is when we get an intuitive sense that we're connected to something greater. We begin to experience the truth that we're connected to the infinite field of energy of life. We're all part of the same energy. You know what the experience of feeling connected to everything and being a part of everything, not being caught up in personal thought that says you're separate, you're missing, you're lacking. The feeling of that is love. So it says pure mind is love. And it's an unconditional love that embraces anything you could experience. So you could be feeling sad, but you're not having any thoughts about it, and you're wide open. And that feeling is just opening. It's actually a beautiful feeling when you don't have a lot of thinking about it. You have a lot of thinking about it, that feeling starts to contract and get tight and feel uncomfortable, and you don't like it, and you want to get away from it. When we experience, when we're less caught up in our personal thinking and we're wide open, we start to have feelings of well-being. Have to. In other words, whatever we're feeling, it starts to open up. And when our feeling is opening up, without even trying, we can be kind to people. I can be in a terrible low mood, and either I'm caught up in my personal thinking or I'm not. When I'm caught up in my personal thinking, everything else outside of me disappears. It's just me. Oh, I feel so sorry. I feel so bad. And it all closes down. It's very egocentric. That's what ego is you become identified. That's who I am. You lose sight of the bigger picture. So when we get a glimpse of that we're connected to something greater, which is every word Sid Banks spoke was trying to point us toward the something greater that we are. You're not who you think you are. Who you think you are is just an idea. Any idea is not truth. Any idea is a limitation. Any idea you think is true is going to create a sense of difference and separation. If you identify with that, you always feel dissatisfied. I see it time and time and time again. Any person I meet, when I see them fall out of their personal thinking, fall out of their ego, no matter what they're feeling, they become warm, kind, more present, more open to life, more accepting of what is. Sid says pure thought is the state of no thought. He says it doesn't mean you don't have thoughts, but you're just resting wide open. And thoughts come and go, they just flow. All of it, all of it, all of it. And on the physical level, you're part of nature, you're going to have weathers. So you're going to have happy thoughts and feelings, sad thoughts and feelings, upset, irritation. It's all going to come. When we're caught up in it, it gets tight and personal and egocentric. When we're not caught up into it, it doesn't frighten us. One time Sid said, if the only thing people learned was not to be frightened of their own experience, everything would change. Everything. You're free to have the full range of human experience flow through you. You become more like a baby in that sense. Some spiritual teachers call that natural state of mind, the one we're born into, newborn consciousness. No resistance, no judgment, no struggle. Recently, the Dalai Lama says, if you don't have any judgment, that's what love is. Can you imagine whatever you're feeling, if you have zero judgment about it, zero thinking about it, no shoulds, no expectations. That's why Sid says, if you want to discover truth, you have to go beyond all concepts. All concepts. The new book about Sid's early teaching, Beyond Beliefs. Listen, this is we're a thought away from being beyond all concepts and all beliefs. This, some people call pure consciousness the now. You're not holding on to a single idea or belief. You're just wide open like a kid. You're just experiencing life directly. I'm seeing the tree in front of me and the birds without thoughts about it, just presence. So pure consciousness, the now, presence, our natural state, the state that includes everything. That's why often the metaphor for pure consciousness is sky. The sky is wide open and embraces everything. All the birds can fly through, all they want. Whatever birds come, they can come. Whatever birds go. The sky doesn't care if there's no birds, one bird, or a flock of squawking geese. Yeah, you know that one? You know that state of mind where you just have all these thoughts squawking, rah, 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 yeah, hey, yeah, making all this noise. If you pay attention to that, think it's true, and identify with it, you suffer. That's what ego is. Having those same thoughts, and they're just free to come and go. And as Sid says, in a sense, you just ignore them. Doesn't matter. You're not paying attention to them. You're not listening to them. It's like having a radio playing music in the background. It doesn't matter. It's just playing. Just part of life, coming and going. Free to be. So Sid would say, I love how he defined pure consciousness as it's awareness free of the contamination of our personal thinking, free of our conceptual mind. That's all it is. And pure consciousness is openness, is love. What I've seen, if I'm caught up in my personal thinking and feeling annoyed at my wife, I don't feel close to her or connected. I feel separate. That's what personal thinking does. It creates separation, it creates duality, creates difference, creates problem, creates dissatisfaction. It's the only place those things exist is in our personal thinking. They don't exist in presence. They don't exist in the now. They're just passing thoughts. When I wake up and go, oh, that's just thought. Remember, divine thought, not personal thought. That's just divine thought. That's just the dance of energy. Fall open. And in that openness, already I feel more connected to my wife. That's why Sid kept saying we're a thought away from what we're looking for. Says we're a thought away from well-being. One time he said, you know what that thought is? It's a state of no thought. It's presence. It's the now. It's so simple and so ordinary. People miss it or they don't know what they're looking for. The only way, I studied with Sid for 23 years. I love taking a page of any book he's ever written or listening to a little bit of a tape where he's talking. Because every word he's using is a word pointing you within, which means beyond your personal thinking, to this dimension of life that's infinitely vast, wide open, present, all embracing, the experience of which is a feeling of well-being. Okay. These are just some quotes from the enlightened gardener. Try listening with an open mind. See, there's open again, right? Open is a metaphor for mind, for the infinity, being open-minded, not fixated and caught up on some little detail or idea or belief or concept. Try listening with an open mind to discover something lying beyond the beliefs we now possess. You have to remember you are looking for the unknown, not the known. You're looking for original thought. Sometimes that space of silence, presence, that always is there in the backdrop of our personal thinking, our metaphoric inner sky, is the intelligence of all life. Out of that space, everything comes. Sid called that space often wisdom, because it knows how to create everything in the universe, and it knows how to operate it. Now that includes us, and then it includes us as psychological beings. When our egos are out of the way, wisdom knows how to live us perfectly. Even if the kids are screaming, your family's falling apart, your situation is a mess, when we fall out of ego, there's just a feeling and a knowing. When we are not grasping onto ideas, beliefs, and concepts, in that moment, this ordinary moment of just being wide open to life as it is in this moment, in that moment, Sid say, if you can take one little step beyond your precious little thought system and touch that space, when you do, it must allow something beautiful into the world, into your experience. It must. There's a shift in consciousness. On a basic level, in my very first training, when Sid says, you have perfect innate well-being, blew me away. I had never heard anybody say that. And I go, oh my God, this is what occurred to me immediately. If I already have it, it's not a matter of trying to get to it. It's a matter of just relaxing. I've already got it. I am it. And I let go of everything I was thinking. Guess what? Just like he promised, I started to feel better for no reason. No reason. Love is unreasonable. Has nothing to do with circumstance. It's unconditional. It's our nature. You have a candle, you put a box over it, it blocks the light. You take the box off unconditionally, this light is revealed. So Sid says, I didn't discover the principles. People don't discover the principles. You fall into that space and they're revealed to you. It's revealed to you. Without thinking about oneness, you start to feel connected. Without thinking about vastness, you start to feel more wide open. Without thinking about being loving, you start becoming more loving. Free gift. The appropriate response to a free gift is gratitude. So you start to feel grateful just for what you know. Grateful for the fact that this is built into all of us. It's the backdrop of life. Remember, friends, this is Sid again. Remember, friends, you are looking for wisdom. And wisdom is knowledge before the contamination of human thought. Wisdom is an inborn spiritual knowledge that lies deep within the soul of all human beings. Wisdom is revealed from the inside out. Every single one of us, no exception, is intimately a part of this space that is wise, aware, creative. No exception. No one is wiser than you. If we're each a wave on the ocean, no one, no matter what size wave you are, no one is more ocean than you are. You all have innate health, wisdom, it's your nature, and it gets covered up, or you fall into the illusion that you don't have it when you get caught up in your personal thinking, your ideas, your concepts, your beliefs. I'm no good, I can't do this, that person's better, I shouldn't feel this way, I should feel different. When all of those thoughts fall away, which they can in an instant, there's just presence. Creatively responsive, aware presence, loving presence. One last quote, and then I'll open it up to anybody who would like to has something they'd like to share. This is in Dear Liza. It's a book about an 11-year-old girl whose mom is dying, and then her mom writes her these love letters for her to read after she's died. And I just want to read you one of the letters. It's very touching because I have grandkids this age. Let me see. Dear Liza, I think you know that I believe you to be very special. See, that was Sid's message to every single one of us. I think you know, I think every one of you is very special. I would suggest to you that your own inner beauty will increase and grow as you recognize the beauty in others. That at core, people are innate well-being. At core of everybody is this beautiful teddy bear. Teddy bear is a metaphor for being wide open. Unconditional hug. It's a hug frozen in time. This unconditional loving being. That's our nature. When our personal thinking falls away, that's what reveals itself. That's what I see over and again. And I've worked with people mandated to see me from prison and from who spent their lives in mental institutions. It doesn't matter. Everybody has perfect well-being inside. And the instant they fall out of their personal thinking, it reveals itself. Okay. I would suggest to you that your own inner beauty will increase and grow as you recognize the beauty in others. This quality may not always seem evident. No kidding. But I believe that you are wise enough to know that everyone has a spark of the divine spirit, which they need only allow to come forth. Try, my dear, if you can, to be kind and considerate to those individuals who have not been graced as you have. Know that although you may not always agree with their ways and their thoughts, they are probably struggling in their own way to achieve happiness. Your unexpected kindness may be the light they require to guide them to their own inner peace. Okay, Bonnie, I think that was about half an hour. Let's open it up. I'd love to hear from people. I'd love to hear what you're hearing that resonates. Or if a question arises as you listen.
Hey, Dicken, it's Patrick. Am I unmuted?
Oh, Patrick. Oh, hi, Patrick.
How are you?
Oh, man. How you doing?
It's really great to see you today. I just wanted to say hi mostly. I mean, what I'm hearing for myself is just the importance of noticing when I'm off. Like you said, I'm going to get off and no big deal, so what? And then just allowing myself to find the quiet place again.
Yes.
You know, don't have to try. I don't have to do anything. I just quiet down a bit. And one of the things I've always learned from you is how my emotions are my guideposts, to what's going on. When I feel wacky or if I feel upset or whatever, I'm pointing the finger outward. It's probably a good sign if I get that little glimmer, a tad consciousness above that to go, that's interesting. So I just wanted to say hi mostly and tell you how much I love you, and it's great to see you.
I love you, Patrick. Great to see you. Yeah, I mean, it's very ordinary when you begin to see that when we begin to get caught up in limited thinking or ego, there's a feeling to it. Always. It's tight. It's uncomfortable. What a friend. This beautiful, it's like a biofeedback system. And that feeling can just let you know one thing only. You're using your intellect now in a way it wasn't meant to be used. You're caught up in limitation. Wake up. Not figure out, not think it through, not continue to stay in your conceptual mind. Just go from the known to the unknown, to the now, because that's where all the answers lie. That's where you find peace, that's where you find beauty, that's where you find insights, that's where you find understanding. So if you don't understand something and are confused, that feeling of confusion is like an alarm clock going off to wake you back up to pure thought, pure consciousness, pure mind. To wake you up out of the illusion and the meaning of your personal thinking of your ego. As your personal thinking falls away, which it does without you working on it, as it falls away, you have more clarity, more perspective, more understanding, more love, more kindness, more openness. It's given to us as a free gift because it's our nature. Well, good, Patrick. I'm glad that's been so helpful for you. It's sure good to see you. Anybody else?
Yes,
Thank
hi,
you.
Dick.
Go. Hello.
Hi, Dicken. It's Karen.
Oh, hi, Karen.
Hi. It's nice to meet you. I have not met you before.
Ah,
I have a question, well, a question or a request to speak more to the idea of innate health in relation to illness and disease.
yes.
I have some serious health issues, and one of the things that the understanding has definitely changed for me, and I've had so many insights around, is I don't seem to have any more, at least I haven't for the last year or so, obsessive thinking about symptoms when symptoms are present and future thinking. The thought will occur to me and then it just kind of goes away. So it's created a tremendous amount of peace and open space for me, which has been very helpful. But the idea of innate health and at the same time not having help is confusing to me. So could you speak more to that?
Yeah. Well, the innate health Sid is talking about is innate psychological well-being. And that when we recognize that we're more than our personal thinking at any moment, we begin to feel better and get thinking that's very helpful for us. So you may still have an illness, you may still have a problem, but we do know that as people wake up and live in greater psychological well-being, they make better decisions about dealing with their illness. They're less burdened by their thinking about their illness. They have less stress. When people have less stress, it strengthens their immune system, which makes it easier for your immune system to move toward healing on a physical level. And I've seen that happen over and over again. In the past year, I've had to have 2 major operations. I have 1 more coming up. I know what it's like when I fall into my thinking about it. And I will experience whatever I think. I do. And when I recognize that that's all that's happening, there's a falling away from that personal thinking. Just the phrase that comes to mind, Karen, is instead of being in my head, I come back and I'm in the room. And then all of a sudden there's the birch trees and the flowers and the coat and the scarf and the lamp and your face. And I'm back. and Psychological suffering doesn't happen while we're in the room. It suffers while we're in our personal thinking. So to become freer and freer of our psychological suffering often plays a very, very, very significant role in our physical well-being. But it doesn't mean that it will cure everything that ails you, as some people believe. It allows you to be more present, more awake, more aware, more loving, more at peace, more resourceful in terms of living your life well. I love your bridge trees, by the way. I was from the Northeast, and it.
I live in Alaska, so we have lots of
Wow, wow. What part of Alaska?
Anchorage.
Company in Anchorage for many years, so
Yeah.
I love Anchorage.
Yeah.
You know where we do our trainings? At Alyeska.
Oh, in Alaska? Do you really?
At Alyeska.
Oh, Alex, do you seriously?
Yeah. It was a Anchorage company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, good. Nice to meet you, Karen.
Yes, you too. Thank you. Thank you for what you shared.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else?
Hi, Dicken.
Oh, hi.
It's Pam.
Oh, hi, Pam.
Hey, how are you?
Your picture didn't come up right away. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Oh, hi. Hi. Great to see you.
Good to see you. I get to talk to you twice today, which is amazing.
That works out for me.
I know, me too. Last time I spoke with you, you had shared some really interesting ideas about worry, and I would love to hear them again because they kind of stayed with me.
I hope you recorded it.
I didn't, but just how we are missing when we worry, what new thinking we will have in that coming moment.
I'm glad you brought that up. Worry was a habit of thinking I was really good at.
Me too.
And it was one of the first places learning the principles helped me, because I spent a lot of time in thinking about my life in a way that created anxiety. And if you ask me why I was worried, I'd say, well, I'm worried because I have this problem. Yeah. And I need to think about it. So I thought it was necessary. I think, personally, the reason why it's very important to talk to people about the principle of mind as an innate wisdom that knows, in a sense, it knows how to run the universe. It knows all the answers that we're looking for. Wisdom has very easily. And basically, what I didn't realize was that there was a resource inside of me that would do a lot better job at coming up with new thinking and ideas and perspective and understanding about my very relevant problems, my immediate problems. And that basically ego is the notion, I can figure this out. I can do this. Let me do this.
And
with
even the idea that, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, what fascinates me is this, the ego is trying to figure it out before the event happens, which is just hilarious,
Yeah. This is why the more you have faith and trust, that at any moment, no matter what's going on, what's happening, when we're open-minded, when we're in the room, wisdom will bring us the exact feeling and thinking we need to deal with anything that's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you could say as people have a deeper understanding of the principles, they have more and more faith and trust that the answers they're looking for, they have inside of them. And they will reveal themselves to you when you're open. So that's why people meditate and pray, is that they're opening up to something greater that can allow this deeper knowing to reveal itself, where you just know what to do, know what to say, know how to deal with things. Right? And you can't worry yourself to wisdom.
Right.
If you could, I would have gotten there long time ago. I'd be the most enlightened person on the planet, I think. It's like, wow, I was a poster child for worry. And I can still work up a good how to worry. It's now I can laugh at it, but boy, I can get caught back up and get anxious, and then hopefully at some point I wake back up again. I'm good to go. I get out of the way in a sense, and then I feel better. And so I go about my day feeling better, and at some point I know exactly what to do or what to say or how to deal with things. And I didn't figure any of it out. I just know. And I see that happen for any of my clients. Is at a certain point they gain greater trust and wisdom, and they worry less and less and less. Less worry means being more open. Less worry means feeling more connected to life. Less worry is you naturally start to be kinder while you're dealing with your problems and issues.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later.
Anybody else?
Yes.
We still have a... Yes. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Hi, Dicken.
Hi.
Oh, I just had many insights while I was just listening to you. But the last one, what you just talked about, that we have the wisdom within us to be given at any moment we need it. I thought, well, it was wisdom in the first place that got us here, that made us be born into this place. So if it has the capacity to bring us here, we are already part of it. We're not separate. So we can just trust in the ability that it'll arise. Well, it doesn't need to arise. It's there already. So
it's there already. Yeah.
Why would we not have the ability to handle whatever comes to us when we are created from it?
Yeah. Well, if we were always open and trusting of wisdom, we would always live from that deeper knowing, from a very loving place. And then all of us, though, get caught back up in our ideas and our personal thinking. We temporarily get lost. And when we do, we start to feel that tension. Some people say, well, it's wisdom that knows to create that tension, to let you know that you're going in the wrong direction. I once had an insight, oh my God, thank God I feel tense, stressed, upset. How else would I know? I was closing myself off to wisdom and love. And that I can't think my way to it. So I go back into being dumb. Of the unknown. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. But as soon as I don't know, I start to feel better. And when I feel better, I know what to do.
Exactly. That's my experience too. Like the biggest decisions in my life, I haven't made kind of consciously. It's because I had kind of given my thinking up. And it's like I said to myself, well, here I am, world, mind, do with me what you like.
As you will.
It's kind of like, giving up on my own ideas because I didn't have any more. And that was when looking back, the best things happened. Yeah.
Oh, Kirsten, that's beautiful. Letting it have its way with you. I joke around with my friends and say, oh, finally I'm letting wisdom have her way with me. And it's just getting out of the way and watching how much easier life gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably easy all the time. We just make it so complicated. And that's why we need those circumstances. Yes.
And it's so ordinary. Like if you're in a city and you have to cross the street and there's lots of traffic, you don't have to be thinking about it to know when to go.
A baby would, though, if they would be able to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wisdom too. That's why not they able to go from the beginning
It'll
on.
tell you, it'll let you know when to go, when to stay, when to run, when to walk. It's already living us perfectly. It's beating our hearts. It's running our brains. It's breathing us. That's why sometimes when people talk about the formless energy behind life, they call it the breath of life.
Yes.
It's living us. It's literally living us. Or some people call that space the heart. You could say pure thought is the heart. Pure consciousness is the heart. Pure mind is the heart. Because when we fall into that space, we feel more connected. We feel more compassionate, kinder, more loving.
I agree, but I think that it's even beyond that. 'Cause even if we don't breathe, if we are not living anymore, we're still connected in that.
Yes.
Mind.
Yes, it is. It's beyond that perfectly. These are just metaphors.
Yeah,
So it's always beyond, always beyond, always more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the other day I was kind of thinking about what's our concept, and we walked at the beach just for a few hours, and I was thinking, well, I'm from Germany. You couldn't see Denmark from there because it was just horizon, and people would think, well, how is it possible that the earth is round? It's just, if you look at it, it doesn't seem possible. And for an ant to just imagine Denmark, I mean, that's a universe. But the ant never probably thinks about it. So it doesn't matter whether there's Denmark or not for the ant. It's so all together. If you think about the own borders and concepts, like you said, it's just concept.
It is helpful if you look at the principles are just another way of saying the infinite field of energy.
Yeah.
That infinite field of energy was here before human beings. So mind, consciousness, and thought as infinite fields of energy potential that know how to create form and operate what's created was here long before people and the physical universe. So on that level, we aren't born and we don't die.
Yes.
It just is on that level. And we can have moments of experiencing the truth of that.
Yes, I had that experience.
Yeah, me too. Good. Well, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Delightful talking to you.
Yeah. I see you in Oslo, though. I'll be coming to Natasha and your. Yes.
That's fabulous. Oh, I look forward to being with you in person.
Me too. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye. I think we have time for someone else if they... Oh, hi, Wendy. I'm glad you made it. Just wanted to say hi.
Hey, Dicken, I have a quick question.
Yes.
And this is around resistance to our experience. You were talking about when you're, in the openness and in that space, pure consciousness is love. It's open and loving of everything that is there. Even if the experience is one of, anxiety or worry. And I found myself the other day caught up in this, you know, knowing where my experience was coming from and then trying to want this experience to be over. So change my thinking so I can, you know, like almost leveraging insight to rescue me now out of my current experience. And clearly that does not work. And I just, you know, I played this game all day long of like, you know, just let it be, drop into the now. But I have to admit that was even a concept of like, as soon as I do that, I'll feel better.
Yes.
And I couldn't get out of it all day. Luckily, I woke up the next day and all was well. But I just spent the whole day, right, trying to work that equation.
Anything about the principles we can turn into an idea. That's the intellect, that's what it does, is that it looks at, it scans the environment, finds an object, and starts generating ideas about it. It's what it always will do, right? So, but the good news is we can distinguish between when we're in the world of our ideas and when we're just present. There's a different feeling. You get more and more sensitized to that. Now, this is just me, folks, that at one point I had an insight that the instant I am not holding on to any ideas about anything, whatever I'm feeling, no matter what it is, starts to open up. The feeling, whatever it is, starts to feel like the feeling of, like you know how you can feel really bad and you get into bed and you let go of everything you think, you go, oh, it feels so good to get into bed. It's not the bed, because if you got into bed and you were worrying yourself sick, you wouldn't go, oh, it feels so good to get into bed. That wouldn't be part of your experience. But the feeling of the now is always opening. So Sid says, if you ever really see that you're caught in thought, it will throw you into the now, and there you will find your happiness. Not happy as opposed to what you're feeling. A happiness that embraces all of life, because it's all energy. And it's the very nature of energy to expand, to open. You light a match, and the light from that match will radiate to infinity. It just keeps going and going and going. You could be on another planet, and if you had a sensitive enough instrument, you could see the light getting there at some point. And the same with human beings. When we're in our natural state of mind, whatever we're experiencing is like light, which is why light has been used as a metaphor for pure thought, pure consciousness, pure mind, the light of consciousness, the light within, our divine spark. Because when we fall out of our personal thinking, especially our thinking about the principles. Oh, it's just thought, I know it's thought, I should drop this, what? All our self-talk.
Thank you. That was very helpful. I heard that happiness and well-being not opposed to your experience, that one that is inclusive of all experience.
Yeah, it's an unconditional love. It's not conditional.
Get it?
It really is inclusive. It's letting yourself be as you are in this moment. That no matter what you're experiencing, there's nothing wrong with you in this moment, but for your thinking saying there's something wrong with you in this moment. And then you get to be an ordinary schmuck. You get to be, you get to walk around, you have all kinds of feelings, but you have a different relationship to them. You're sort of, as my friend George Pransky would say, you're comfortable being uncomfortable. You're at peace when you experience, no matter what you're experiencing. That's a very, it's hard to explain to people, but it's a very cool thing to begin to experience more and more, that you can just be yourself as you are right at this moment. Well, Steph, good talking to you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Is there anyone else that has a question or wants to share something? Somebody, Arvin?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Arvin.
Hi, Dicken. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Hi. What had come to me is that you kept on saying that answer is always same for all the question, all the feelings, whatever it is. I find it's same answer for every question that I come up with. So whenever I am feeling a little bit down, it's the same answer. So is there anything that is not the same answer?
Yeah. See, you know what I think of? Like, when I was a kid, I loved when somebody gave me a triangle prism, clear glass prism.
Yeah.
And when the sun would come through it, it would make a rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. Wisdom is always the answer, or you could say love is always the answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Often Sid would say love is always, 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 always the answer. In other words, when we fall into this space where feeling radiates, always we find what we're looking for there.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd say, listen for a feeling.
Yeah.
And in that, now, what occurs to us is always going to be different. Stand up, sit down, say something, say this, say that. Like right now, you asked me that question. I had no idea what to say. I waited. Something occurred to me. If you asked me the question again, it would be different.
Oh.
So on a personal level, it comes through us differently, but it's the same love hitting the prism of the human mind and then coming through in different colors.
Oh. Huh. So it's
No, I just made that up, Arvin.
No, it's
because that's what occurred to me right now.
No, I've been trying to see if there is any different answer, because every time I come across a question, I just ask myself, why this is happening? Like, what is this happening? Then the answer is always the same thing. It's always my thought is making all this up, and I'm getting this feeling. So pretty much when I get to that understanding, everything kind of goes away. Then I'm back to the balance, I suppose. Yeah.
That's why Sid would say, in terms of the experience we're living in from the cradle to the grave, it's all thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's all thought. That's the one single truth about our experience. It's all created from the formless power of thought that generates life.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's using thought in the same way you would use divine thought, divine consciousness, divine mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's three different ways of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Source, formless, infinite, creative, wise, loving source.
Yeah.
It's all coming from the one. So I say, look for one thought rather than 100.
Yeah. Thank you, Dick.
Look for the one consciousness. Yeah. Great to see you, Arvin, and to hear you laughing again too. You are a delight. I noticed that my dear friends John and Natasha hopped on. They're suffering away in Hawaii, so I wanted to send my condolences And Natasha and I used the metaphor in our book of coming home, that beneath the ego, beneath the personal self, there's a home base where we're most comfortable and at ease. Remember how we talked about being comfortable in your own skin? When we fall out of our personal thinking. That's how Sid would say meditation is just when our personal thinking quiets down. It's our natural state. It's not something you do. You can't do meditation. I'm going to go meditate. No. You just rest in the now. And then your personal thinking falls away. It's like a snow globe. When you stop shaking it and set it down, what's the snow always settles. And in that clarity, it's built into us to feel better and to get thinking that's intuitive, helpful, responsive. That's why sometimes people say, or Natasha and I in the book said, you wake up out of your personal thought world, it's all thought, you rest in pure consciousness, the now, and fill up with mind's love and wisdom. And when you fill up, you just extend it unconditionally because it was given to you unconditionally. Right? You understand the principles, you become more open-minded, you begin to fill up with feelings that connect you to life in a positive way, and you find yourself more and more just being kind to yourself, to other people, to the trees, to your dog. Okay. Well, thanks, folks. It's been a delight. Bonnie, thank you for 3PGC is an amazing organization. I've been part of it from the get-go, and I've had the good fortune of interviewing people that apply to be listed as 3 Principles practitioners. So I've always done a lot of work for that organization. It's a wonderful group just trying to maintain the integrity of Sid's teaching and help disseminate them to the world.
Thank you so much, Dicken. This was such a beautiful way to spend a little bit longer than an hour. I always enjoy anytime I get to have a conversation with you and listen to whatever you have to share. So I so appreciate it. I want to let everyone know that Dicken's website will be posted underneath the YouTube video, and that should be up at the latest by tomorrow. So if you want to get in touch with Dicken, that will be probably the best way to do it. And the next live webinar is on January 24th with Barb Patterson. So
I just spent the 4 days with Barb in California. You're in for a treat if you haven't heard Barb talk before. What a delightful human being.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully you can join us live then, and if not, we will put the recording in the YouTube channel. So thanks everyone, and see you again soon. I'm gonna unmute everybody, and so you can all say goodbye to Dicken.
Bye, Dicken.
Bye, everybody.
Well,
Bye, Dicken.
Great to see you, folks. Bye-bye.